y'all, I am Michelle Mazelleغ. I'm going to share with you all this video clip and then I'm going to come back and talk about it. So let's get into it.
I'm yearning to get this connection from people. Okay, they're strangers first, but then they don't care. And I think that's the part that people gotta release when you come to Africa. These people are strangers. They don't care nothing about your plight. They don't care nothing about your mama's plight. They just want to know about, okay, how I'm living my life already. I really don't care about you moving over here, bro. And that's the consensus that I gained while visiting Africa and then also living in Rwanda for a year.
African Americans are under the impression that when they go to a country in Africa, that the people in Africa are number one gonna know that you're African American. They're just gonna automatically just know that you're just coming over there. You are there to make a connection. Like, I don't know how African Americans think that people from the African countries are even supposed to know that you are coming over there for the purpose of making a connection. We're not wearing a sign. We're not, we're not going around, hey, I want to connect to the people from the African continent. I mean, that's not going on. So, what kind of connection do you think is going to come from you just getting off of a plane? Where do you think the connection is going to come from? It is not going to come with you just stepping off of a plane, getting into getting into a taxi, going into the hotel, going to the marketplace. That's not where connection starts. Connection starts with actually socializing with the local people. That's where the connection starts. That's where you will see the connection. And that's where some African Americans are missing it. I don't really know what their expectations are when they're talking about the connection to people. When you're at the marketplace, people are trying to sell you things. They're there for business purposes. They're there to make money. They're not there to hold your hand, give you a hug, and tell you, hey, welcome to Ghana, welcome to Nigeria, welcome to Rwanda. They're there to make money. They're there to live. That's not where you make connections at, is at the marketplace. So, African Americans need to understand where you need to go to make these connections. You need to go where the connection can take place. Maybe you can go to a festival. Maybe you can go to a local person's home, a native person's home, have dinner. Maybe you can go to a restaurant. You have to explore these different places so that you can get some kind of connection. They don't know who's coming into their countries. There's not a sign up in the airport saying the African Americans are coming. Here are the African American list. Please make them feel welcome. That's not happening. So they're not going to know who you are, where you're coming from. They don't know if you're African American. They don't know if you're from France. They don't know any of that. They do know you're not from there. They probably know that. But that's about all they know. And so when I keep hearing that, well, I went to these African countries and I didn't feel no connection and didn't nobody, make me feel welcome. Well, where were you going to feel welcome at? Please tell me, where were you going to feel welcome at? Now, if you going to somewhere where it was particularly there for you to feel welcome, and then they kind of snubbed you, then I can see maybe you have something to say. But going to the marketplace, getting on the tra-tra in Ghana, getting in a taxi, they don't care about trying to connect with you. They're working. That's their job. That's not what they're there for. So if you want to feel connection to the people, to the local people, go to where they are. Go to where they actually are socializing in a social environment, where they actually have the time and it's a place for that type of connection to take place. And then you might see things differently. But a lot of times when I hear them talking about, they're in just like the normalest places. Normalist ain't even a word. They're in the normalest places where people are doing normal living, normal jobs, and then they think somebody's supposed to stop what they're doing and give you a hug and say, welcome to Ghana, welcome to Tanzania. I mean, come on, let's be real. Let's just be realistic. All right, so let's go on to further into what he had to say about his experience in Africa.
Are you coming to help, or are you coming to just live your life? And I think that's that's a big conversation that needs to be had too, because a lot of African Americans think that when you move to Africa, you got to help, or you got to do something, extreme to help the native Africans situation. Now, if you have that in your heart, great. But a lot of chances, a lot of situations where you got Africans living lovely.
Yes, you should go to these African countries to help. You shouldn't just be going there to just live there and set up shop there and build your home there and just kind of just forgo the people there. Like that is not a reason to go there. You should be going there to help in some capacity of some sort of being able to help the people there, because then you're no different really than a colonizer then, because you're really taking from the area and you're not giving back into it. But what are you doing with the country as a whole? How are you helping that next generation? How are you helping to continue to get that economy growing? So I think it's important as African Americans that we don't forget, that you don't forget that yes, you are coming over there for something. And a lot of African Americans, they will always say, well, they need us, they need us. Really? Really? They can function without African Americans. I think they've been functioning pretty good without African Americans' presence. African Americans also need these countries of Africa, because the reality is what you're able to do in these countries in Africa, you would not be able to do in the United States of America. You would not be living in the type of home that you're living. You would not be able to have the business that you're able to have. And so you do need these countries in Africa, because you're able to do things, you're able to build that wealth that you're not able to do in the United States of America. So it really is a give and a take. So when I hear African Americans say, oh, Africa needs us, they need us to come back. Well, no, they don't need you. They would love for you to come back so that you can experience living in the countries of Africa, so that you can experience the cultures of Africa. But as far as them needing you, they will be able to survive without the presence of African Americans. They really would. And so that's that type of mentality that needs to go away, because that's an American mentality. That is so American. For Americans are always feeling like they can save everybody else. They can, everybody else needs saving. They don't need saving. Americans think they don't need saving. Everybody else needs saving. Everybody else has problems. All these other countries have problems, and it is only the Americans that can come and save you and make things better and make your life a whole new life. And then it's just like, okay, so no, because you actually need us. You actually need our land. You actually need, the things that are happening here, because if we didn't have it, you wouldn't be able to have the things that you have. And so that's the mentality that Americans need to start having in their head, particularly African Americans, when they're moving over there with this kind of notion and bringing this kind of American mentality with them. That's just something that doesn't need to be happening. Okay, so let's look at this one last little thing of this video clip.
And the African community in the States, they don't mess with us 100% like that for us to really build. They stick to their community just like we stick to our community, and it's the same way in Africa. Unfortunately, when I lived in Rwanda, I noticed, African Americans, we immediately made a community, met each other. Then you got your Indians, they have their community. You got your Chinese, they have their community, and then the Rwandans, that's their country, so they're there. But unfortunately, you still gonna stick to what you used to, what like what you yearning, like when you living somewhere. But to move there, to think that I'm just about to assimilate, no. I think that's the conversation that a lot of us have to have moving there. And it's okay to be yourself. I'm a Black dude from Chicago. I'm never gonna drop that wherever I live. And that was something that I held on to living there. I wasn't trying to be Rwandan. I wasn't trying to just to associate or make all Rwandan friends because I've met people and say, oh, I'm not talking to any Americans, Black Americans. I'm not dealing with the expat community. I'm just going to be with the Rwandans. And I'm like, huh?
So when he said that people of the African countries go to the U.S. and they kind of stick with themselves and they don't really socialize with the Black community. And he knows how that is. He can see that. He knows there's something wrong with that, even though there's really pretty much a type of animosity going on between these two groups of people. The black people ain't want to socialize with them either. But why would you go to a country in Africa and do the exact same thing? You know that it doesn't work in the US, so why would you go to another country in Africa and do the exact same thing instead of socializing with the local people? Going outside of your communities, taking some people with you and learning about the things that happen there. Now, I know in Ghana is very friendly. And so they're not going to care if you go to their clubs or go to the mall or go to a festival they're having and you're learning their cultures, especially when you're with somebody who's from there. They're not going to care. Now, it will become an issue when you start going to these places and you start trying to video, you start trying to record, because a lot of times people in African countries don't like to be recorded because they don't know what you're going to do with that recording. So you definitely might see another side of some people from these African countries, particularly in Ghana, if you recording them without them knowing that you're recording, especially if it's a part of the festival that is, that's got something to do with the village, or it's got something to do with the clan, got something to do with tradition and stuff like that they don't want to share with everybody. You might come up with some problems on that. But again, ask somebody. They will tell you, hey, put that camera up, or they will let you know what to do and what not to do. Like they're not ones, especially in Ghana. And I know in countries in Africa, they are very, very much to tell you, no. We don't do that here. That's not what you do. And you have to respect that. You got to follow that. And there are some African Americans who a lot of times, and it's not just African Americans, it's Americans in general who come to countries and don't feel like they got to follow no rules there. Because they created a standard. America has created a standard that they think everybody in the world should follow. And when people don't follow that standard, then all of a sudden something's wrong with that country, something's wrong with those people, just because they're not following the standard that America made up. And mind you, it is a standard just for Americans. It's not a standard that applies to anybody else, even though they think it should. Now, this man says that, in so many words, he is not doing a very good job of socializing with the locals. And then he wonders why he has no connection to them. How are you going to have connection to a group of people that you're not socializing with? And then he talked about a man who said, hey, he doesn't want to socialize with the expats. He wants to socialize with the Rwandans. I completely understand that. Why am I socializing with people that are coming from where I'm coming from? What am I going to learn from that? We're coming from the US of A. I know about us. So why do I need to hang out with y'all? Yeah, I can hang out with you all sometimes. That's probably what the man was saying. He can hang out with you all sometimes. But why would he continue to hang out with a group of people that he knows about? He wants to know about Rwandan culture. So that's where he wants to spend majority of his time. When he spends majority of his time with the Rwandan people, he probably will learn the language. He could learn the language that some of them might be speaking. He's going to learn the culture. He's going to learn the people. He's going to learn more about the food. And he's going to be connected to Rwanda, while you sitting over here worrying about being involved with the people that has the same culture as you do. That doesn't make any sense. So the man that he's talking about had the right idea. I don't need to hang out with you all because I know about American culture. Why do I need to hang out with y'all? I want to be as close to this culture as I can. And there are some people who go to the African countries who definitely want to fully assimilate. They want to leave America behind. They don't want to have nothing to do with it. Well, I'm done. No, I don't want to have nothing to do with them. And you know what? That's fine, because they have made up in their mind kind of what they want to do and where they want to go. And there are some African Americans that have a problem with that. See, they don't understand how somebody could want to assimilate to a country in Africa, because they still got that mindset. Well, we from America, so why would you want to assimilate to any culture in Africa? Like, really? Like, we just here to live. We here to live cheap. We here to do this kind of thing. We ain't here to really be with the people of Africa. That's not what we're doing. Because that's kind of the attitude that I got from him. Like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for that. So I'm just here to take advantage of the land because I can't afford it in America. And I could care less about the people and the culture and all that kind of stuff. Like, y'all can keep that. I just want the land. I just want to be able to buy a home and make a business. And to me, that's sort of like modern colonization. because the colonizers didn't want to have nothing to do with the people either. They just wanted the land and the resources. That's all they wanted. So as African Americans, you got to be careful with that type of attitude. When you're coming to these countries in Africa, you should want to connect to the culture. You should want to be a part of what the people are doing. You should want to do that other than just living on land that it's only made possible because of them. Just like, when Black Americans talk about people in Africa should be, grateful for things that have been put in place for them to be able to come over to the United States. It's the same type of mentality that should be given to these people in these countries of Africa. It is because of us, and it's because of what some of these leaders are putting in place for the reason why you're able to come here and even build a home and be able to live in a lifestyle that you would never be able to live in the United States of America. You need to realize that, just like you want them to. You see how there's always a connection. There's always that kind of thing going on. We gotta continue to have that mindset. African Americans need to have that mindset. What I want African Americans to remember is, if you want the respect, you have to give it. And a lot of times some African Americans don't want to give no respect when it comes to countries in Africa. This man has every right to have his opinion and every right to have his experiences, but it's always going to be a problem when you go to these African countries and you don't even want to really learn, and you want to really walk away with something. Even if you don't stay there for a long time, at least walk away with something. Don't just say, well, I live there and I don't have no connection to the people and that's it. I mean, at least walk away with something that you can take back and say, you know what? Being there changed my life. In one form or fashion, it changed my life. And that's something that you'll be able to carry with you until you dead. All right, I am Michelle Mazelleغ. That's all I have to say on that. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.